You are watching a New Vision News special report.
My name is Geraldine Al-Shami. I am the director of Magdalene Ministries, and this event was organized today to give parents a voice. Too many times our parents suffer in silence. They don't have a way to let people know what's going on with them when they are confronted with issues around school, discrimination of their children in schools. It's like running into a brick wall sometimes without support. So our intent today was to give parents that voice, let them begin to speak out about what they're experiencing in the schools. We wanted our educator, people on the board, to hear what parents have to say, because too many times they talk to parents and not allow parents to talk back. So that's the main thing here, is giving parents the opportunity to speak their voice. The other thing is that we want to organize a strong parent group, because in the absence of a strong parent group, we don't have any power. And this piece is the beginning of building that base of power for parents to bring about policy change, to hold people and to hold school board and school educators accountable.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. My name is Micah Speed. My son is Micah Speed. If you haven't seen the video, he's the young man in the video that pulled down another young man in the hallway at the school. The circumstances behind what happened was there was conversation, inappropriate conversation in the classroom. There were racial conversations in the classroom. There was a teacher in the classroom that did not, as far as I'm concerned, do his job, which is to regulate, to stop anything that's inappropriate. Instead, he allowed those things to go on until my son had enough, being called a nigger, being called, said that he was dipped in dirt and coffee. And enough was enough. We don't condone, my ex-husband and I don't condone any type of violence, but then the level that they want to report my son or suspended my son with was a level 3. This was Wake Forest High School.
Thank you.
So, Ms. Geraldine wants me to specifically right now speak about the purpose of why we're here. The reason why we are here, number one, is to get together and understand the policies that are placed in our school system. Number two, we need to understand the system, and if there's things that's inadequate for our children, we need to change the system. We can only do it if we do it together. It can't be one parent or two parents. It's got to be all parents. We need each other to make this change. We need to hold our schools accountable. And the only way we can hold them accountable is if we have the information necessary to do so. It is important that we do it together. We can't do it alone. I felt very powerless when the incident first began, and I felt alone. I had no one to turn to. And then thanks to God putting some people, just dropping some people with information, I then began to get my voice back. And that's what we need. The purpose here is for you to acquire your voice, because your voice needs to be heard about your children. When we send our children to school, we automatically believe that they are going to obtain the things to allow them to be productive adults. When that does not happen, then we need to get together and change policies and systems. Do you understand what I'm saying? And it takes all of us. That's our purpose today. That's why we're meeting today, is to get more information and to render you with some power, because you need it in the classroom. And there could have been something done way ahead of time before the issue turned into what it did. And then I think that when you're talking about punishing these children, there should be a level of punishment, and there should be an understanding where this young man, his suspension or his punishment was a level 2, my son's was a level 3. And then harassing and bullying was a part of that level, which to me is absolutely ridiculous. So that we need to do something. There has to be a change, and it has to start with the system. And then the system needs to choose educators, not just teachers. A teacher is someone who will walk in the door and just teach your children and leave out with their paycheck. But an educator is dedicated to give them more, is dedicated to their growth, is dedicated to giving them something that they will take in their adulthood. That's the difference between a teacher and an educator.
You will hear from parents, a number of parents who have had experiences in public schools. And what we want you to do is we want you to listen to what these parents have to say, so that we understand that this is not just an idle incident, that these incidents are happening all across the district, all across Wake County District, all across the state, and all across the country. And we are not, as a people, we are not really standing up, because when we remain silent, what we do is we give permission. I always say that when children are not disciplined, or what do? They try you. And I think that's what's happening now is our children, because a lot of these kids have not been disciplined, and it's been okay for them to do it, for them to say things, for them to act out, for them to bully. And I know for a fact, because most of my advocacy has been around teachers not responding to bullying. So I want you to listen to these parents today. I want you to take serious what they are about to say to you, and I want you to stand behind these parents for some positive change.
Today, my name is Micah Speed. Michael's my little brother. I keep saying the same thing, but there needs to be an understanding that this is not just an isolated incident like Ms. Geraldine said. This is an ongoing culture. It's become a normality. It's normal. And we need to understand that it's for black, brown, and not just black and brown children, but poor children. You're seen as less than. And when you're seen as less than and you're handed out these unequal punishments, and it becomes the subject of these children growing up feeling as if they're less than. Which means they're not going to be productive members of society. They're not going to become who they're supposed to be. They're not going to reach their full potential because they lived their whole life in this shadow of being less than. It's okay to be called a nigger. It's okay to be told that your family will be killed. It's okay for this boy to just go on and live his life, but my brother has to live in the shadow of this video of him reacting to something. Not only did my mom not say, but she neglected to say that Micah notified the teacher and he notified administration. Nothing was done. And it's because that told him that he does not matter. It's okay for you to be bullied because you're a big black boy. A lot of people said, I was reading the comments because of the Facebook post, a lot of people saying, he's big and black. So just because he's big and black, it's okay to be bullied. But Micah had an understanding that because he's in a system that was not made for him and the policies are not for him, he understood that he cannot respond. And when he came to the understanding that he did not matter. And this is something that happens on a daily basis to children. And these, like I said, these create members of society who do not reach their full potential. People don't understand why, especially black people today, are in this never-ending cycle of not being productive. It's because in the school systems, we are told we do not matter. Every day. I went to school, I was the only black girl in my English class. And I was told every day about me being too dark, or my hair being too nappy, or boys telling me I wasn't cute because of the way I look. And I just feel as though we need to come to an understanding that as a community, not just, like I said, not just for black and brown children, but for poor children, as a community, we didn't make this it shouldn't be normal anything about it. Tar baby, nigger, he bathes in coffee grinds. But then you say the word cracker, and it's, oh no, we said cracker. It shouldn't be, it should be a level of equality when it comes to punishments. No, a lot of people, like my mom said, us as a family, we don't condone Micah pulling the boy. But what was his reaction? He had no resources. He told, like I said, he told the teacher, he told administration, nothing happened. So what's his last recourse? To defend himself in the only way he knew how. Well, let me just drag him real quick and see how he responds. And he was penalized for that. So all in all I want to say is us as a community, we need to come to an understanding that all of our kids matter. Our sons, our daughters, our children matter. And we need to make them feel as though they matter so they can grow up knowing that they matter and reach their full potential. Thank you.
I'm Micah Speed. I was said person in the video. A lot of people that watch the video just assumed that 50-second video was all that happened. And my mother and my sister actually summed it up really nicely, so I'm just going to say this. I've said it many times, I'm not a violent person. I walk away from situations because I grew up in Chicago. We lived in Chicago for a long time, so I had to walk away from situations because when you're one kid versus 6 kids, you can't really do much. So I feel like I did let go of myself a little bit in that situation, but it's not my fault. I was pushed, I told, no, nothing happened. I went higher, nothing happened. I came home, nothing happened. They went to administration. So I feel like this meeting right here that's happening right now could help change all the policies and quote unquote, what they say, my gating factors in the situation that made my suspension lessen. Because with all due respect, that's BS. Because the only reason they lessened my suspension was because of media attention. If it wasn't for that, I would still be suspended 10 days, not getting my football ring, not getting my ring for a championship that I went to practice for and I worked for. They're trying to take that away from me because I pulled a kid down. They're trying to take that away from me because they said I attacked him, but he attacked everything within me. He attacked my pride, he attacked my ancestry, he attacked me as a person. And a lot of people who ask me, well, you should have beat him up, you should have hit him, you should have stopped him. What would that have gotten me? And the teacher in the video, I don't know if anyone saw it, the teacher in the video, hit me, oh, you should have slapped her. What would that have done? I would not be here in this meeting. My mom and my dad and my sister would be scraping for bail money just to get me out. So, for everyone who said they would have reacted worse, trust me, I wanted to react worse, but I couldn't. I couldn't put myself in that position because I know my size and I know the color of my skin. My dad has a hat that says Black Excellence. I'm not excellent because I'm black. I'm black and I choose to be excellent.
All right.
Thank you.
Today was a meeting for parents to get together and pretty much share our story about what was going on or what has been going on in the Wake County public school system. I was amazed at how many parents actually had similar stories or even worse case scenarios. I was, my heart was brought to tears listening to some. The purpose of the meeting was to try to get out information, make parents aware that, you're not alone, because I know in my situation I felt powerless. But as far as what the meeting did, I think The good thing that came out of the meeting is that I got to meet other parents and get some connections and try to, stay together with those parents that are fighting the system. As far as the board members that came out, I really did not hear any solution. I really don't believe they had an answer to the questions that we were asking. So therefore, on that piece, I don't think that it was productive. The productivity for me was just being able to talk to other parents like myself.
I think today was mainly to try to get the board's attention and more media attention to make a legitimate change, because we already surpassed the school because the school didn't do anything. The boards, obviously, from the meeting, have no plans on doing anything significant. So we're trying to go above that.
I came down here just to check on my kids and to get an understanding of what was happening. I just wanted to hear from other parents about what's going on in the district, and I was actually moved to tears about the stories from the parents. It was really mind-blowing to hear the stories that other parents are enduring, and so I was really proud of how my kids represented themselves, what they spoke of, their mom taking the lead and challenging what's going on in this district. So I was really proud of how they handled it, and I was, but I'm also proud of Ms. Geraldine and the other advocates in this area who are really making a change. And even though I believe that the school board member didn't really have solutions, but he definitely heard what the concerns were for the people, and I'm encouraged to leave here as it was sad for some of the stories, but it's also encouraging that if these parents really get together, change really can happen. I believe it can.
Well, my initial hope was for there to be some kind of resolution, because we've been having lots of conversations and talking, but there hasn't really been any resolutions for not only Micah, but for the other families that we heard today. And they're experiencing what they're experiencing, and it's being swept under the rug. So my hope was for us to get together and find some resolutions, and there be board members there willing to help be a part of the of solving the problem. What happened was we got connected with other families who are going through things, and advocates as well, which I'm extremely grateful for, and I would be really vigilant and making sure there's change being brought. So I'll be anywhere that I can be to make change, not only for my brother, but for every other child in the system that is experiencing inequality, which does not exclude poor children as well. I just think that the board members were just there to be there. And I just hate that we keep having these conversations and change isn't being brought about, and the people who can make the change are just there. We're talking about inequality, and then his response is, well, we'll just build some more pre-jails, aka alternative schools. So I just feel like it's really not a resolution from those people. So we as a people, we have to make the changes. We have to make them make the changes. So I just feel encouraged because the people that are the advocates and the families that were there, they seem inclined to make change, as do me and my family. So we're just going to make change. We're going to make it happen by ourselves, because obviously we cannot rely on these people who hold offices in the system, because they're a part of the problem.
A disturbance. But for some reason, this lady decided to chase them down the hallway one day and physically assault them. And to say in short, the nightmares, the migraine headaches, the anxiety that my children have faced every day, because this woman has not been reprimanded at all. I have, suffered so many different things because they've tried to silence me. And like I tell my children every day, even though justice has not been swift, mom's gonna keep fighting.
That's right.
So I tell you parents that the road is hard, and it's scary, and it's frustrating. And so many days I want to just say, well, you know what? Let's just give up. Let's just, but that's what they want us to do. They don't want us to keep talking. They don't want us to keep fighting. I get the sideways glances. And mind you, I volunteer in this classroom, in this school, often. So every time I walk in that door, I'm looked at because it's like, okay, what is she in here?
What school was this?
This was Croft Community in Charlotte.
What's the name of it?
Croft Community School
So this happened in Charlotte.
in Charlotte,
How long ago?
December, and I'm still fighting.
My point of being here today was to basically give my children a voice, give a voice to the children that, you know, have fallen into the same situation that my children have fallen into. Unfortunately, being assaulted by someone that's supposed to protect them and someone who's supposed to help them learn. And it's a lot of things that are happening in our schools that we're not aware of because a lot of parents don't know that they need to speak out. Basically, my children were new to this school, so my son was walking his sister to class every day. They're very close in age, so they're kind of like twins. Like I said, he had been walking her to class since the beginning of the school year, and prior to about 2 weeks before Christmas, a teacher somehow, for whatever reason, felt that he should not be walking her to class. And on this particular day, as he was walking her down the hallway to her classroom, she ran up behind them and assaulted them and basically snatched him so hard that his arm, of course, was sore. And I mean, he's a pretty stocky kid, so, you know, for her to have pulled him as hard as she did, he slung my daughter and she ran because, of course, she was afraid. In speaking with administration, of course, they're trying to say that it didn't happen. I was told that the camera was facing another direction. They said that the lady didn't do it. However, after the fact, they would pull my kids out of class and question them about what happened. Now, in the same breath, you're telling me nothing happened, but yet you're pulling my children out of class to ask them what happened. My daughter was told that, well, had your brother listened, that this would have never happened. But you just said nothing happened. And what is it that he didn't listen to? I've checked every policy that they've sent out. I've checked every manual that is attached to the school, even to the district. There's nothing that says, you know, siblings can't walk their other sibling to class. My big problem was the fact that his classmate, who is a Caucasian female, has been able to walk her sister to class unscathed. I've witnessed it. I wrote down the dates that I've seen this happen. And I took this to administration and I said, you know, if you're saying that you're trying to minimize traffic in the hallway as the reason being that this happened, then why is this child allowed to do that? After that happened, my son started to receive threatening notes in his backpack. No one knows how these notes got here. No one knows who these notes were written by. They were along the lines of, I'm watching you, stop telling people what's happening, your sister's an easy target. You know, my daughter's 6 years old. Again, we kept going through the motions of trying to get something to happen. This lady gets to stand at the end of the hallway every day. She's outside when they have to get picked up every day. And when my children see her, they freeze. So you can't tell me that nothing happened when they had no problems going to school every day. They look forward to going to school every day. They're A honor roll students. Never had a disciplinary issue. So why all of a sudden now is this a problem? And the fact of, you know, you all not wanting to do anything. I had an investigator come in and they told the investigator, oh, well, the camera was facing another direction, but it's kind of obstructed. So if you knew that this camera was obstructed and this is supposed to be for safety measures, why was that not fixed at the beginning of the year? Because we can see the cameras in the office. So you knew that this camera was obstructed. That camera was not obstructed. They were right under the bulb to see what happened. I still do whatever I have to do to support the teachers that are there to teach them. And that's the thing. It's not, you know, it's not a thing of malice. It's a thing of what's right and wrong and following your policy. And if you have a zero tolerance policy, everyone should be upheld to that standard. I hope that parents get more aware that the system that we once knew as we matriculated through school, it's still in place, but it does not work. Because, you know, when something would happen, we can remember our parents, you know, going to the principal and the teachers were actually in a partnership. Now it's like, it's a corporate takeover. You give them your child, which is your most prized possession, and they're taking over how they're going to educate them, how they're going to treat them, how mentally they're able to function, and you're not supposed to say anything. And the thing is, parents have to be aware that just because you're sending your child to school doesn't mean that they're learning. And I tell people, always talk to your kids and ask open-ended questions. Don't just ask, how was your day today? What was the best part of your day? What was the worst part of your day? And you'd be surprised the fact that I tell them, our children are being conditioned that treatment like this is okay. Because I see it. When I walk through the hallways, I see some of these teachers that are, verbally assaulting our children, who are, physically assaulting them, and they're like, oh, I was just guiding them. No, you weren't. That's assault. Because if I, as a parent, had done what this lady has done to my children, I would be arrested.
My children are 8 and 6. 6 years old. And I'll tell you, when I got CMPD to come to my house, and I explained to him, I said, sir, my children have been assaulted. Me and Dad are sitting there like, hey, this is what happened to our children. And he told me, well, maybe you need to wait till after the holidays blow over. And I'm telling you, my daughter's afraid to go to class. And he was like, well, she's going to need to toughen up because there's going to be way worse things that are going to happen. Mind you, she's 6 years old.
Jesus.
What else does she have to worry about other than being a child? This is what I'm telling you. The system that we once knew when we matriculated through school is broken. You cannot just go to the school and say this would happen and justice will be swift. You can't even go to the superintendent's office anymore and expect justice to be swift. All of it is numbers, it's money, and they're trying to protect their interests. And their interest is not our children.
Wow. What a testimony.
This was a New Vision News special report.